Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the Ontario Rat number 2 here with me for a review, and we're gonna analyze the look, the sound and the feel of this guy, but first of all let's just check how big this guy is. 7 inches overall length, with a 4-inch long handle and roughly 3-inch long blade. So not a big boy for sure. Let's see it, for example, compared with the bigger brother, the Ontario Rat number 1. Look at that. This is a Rat number 2 on steroids. And let's see it compared with some other small blades. For example, this is Shirogorov Neon. It's bigger than that. Or for example, let's say the Neon on steroids, Shiro F95. Yeah, looks huge compared to that. Spyderco Para 3. It's a little bit longer than this guy over here, and you can see the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in comparison. It's kind of like dwarfing this little guy over here. Again, Spyderco Schmock, huge compared to the Rat number 2. And what else do we have? Some big boys. Koenig Knives, Arius, Shirogorov F3, you see, pretty big guys indeed. Then let's just do this one over here, Holt Bladeworks Spectre, and why not, let's just do Chris Reeve Knives, large Sebenza 21 right over there. So yeah, so this knife is pretty popular. It's gonna cost you around $50 because of this carbon fiber scales, D2 improved steel compared to the AUS 8, murdered out blade. I mean, there's a little bit of touches that are gonna increase the price of this version here, but overall this is gonna be an inexpensive knife. The scales in this case are carbon fiber laminated onto G10, whereas usually you get G10 scales on top of these stainless steel liners. In fact, this is a liner lock, as you can see from here. And overall, guys, I mean, I'm actually impressed by this little guy. The scales are nicely chamfered on the outside. There's no chamfering on the inside, but they're rounded off nicely. So they're not going to be sharp in any way. So very good. You see there's no internal skeletonization going on over here. None in the scales, not in the liners, which are going to contribute, of course, to have a little bit higher weight than it would have been with the skeletonization. 1, 2, 3, 4 standoffs going on. Lanyard hold right over here, drilled through. So pretty simple construction. You have sometimes, like not in this case, a little bit of lock stick. It can happen, even if it's steel on steel. And overall, takedown is going to be pretty straightforward. Just unscrew this 4 here with a T6. This is a T10 for the pivot, and boom, you're done. This guy is running on washer. Very simple. Disassembly, check out my video. The screws are kind of like flush and nicely not protruding from the scales, and nice and blacked out as well to keep this stealthy look overall. The clip is not fantastic. Clip ramp is a little bit on the low side, and the spring tension is a little bit too much, and it's very simple. I mean, it's just a bent slab of steel and then blacked out. So not really a fan of this, but I mean, it's a pretty inexpensive knife. This guy has a couple of thumb stud just to deploy the blade like that, or like this, which work really well. They're nicely rounded off, so it's not really hurting your finger doing so. The blade has a nice shape, you see, nice point going on, 30, maybe 35% belly, straight edge up to the very thin sharpening choil, full flat grind, DLC coated, huge logo going on over here, Model 2 D2 steel, Taiwan. I mean, lots of stuff going on, not a sterile look blade whatsoever, but you have a nice thumb ramp with some nice jimping going on, which actually are directed like a saw, some teeth from a saw, like in that direction. which are absolutely functional, really, really cool. Not really a finger choice, but I guess you can just choke it up a little bit like this, but just be careful because this is sharpened up to the heel of the blade. Nice, it's a nice slicer, guys. Absolutely thin stock. Look at this. I mean, just to compare it with what? Spyderco Para 3. Look at this. Guys. This is a serious slicer, full flat grind, really, really nicely done indeed. You have also like a little bit of cutout right over here for the liner, so your thumb is going to be able to access this one. It's not the easiest one to disengage, but you have some jimping also going on, and it's going to be all right at the end of the day. And if you check the sound of this guy, it's nice and snappy. When you open it, it's a good sound. It's not like unique, but it's very good. Also, when you close it, kind of nice and soft clicky sound. Very interesting. I mean, unobtrusive, discreet, subtle, and not loud whatsoever. When you open it, yeah, different game. Really, really interesting. It's nice, I have to say it. The weight in your pocket is going to be 3 ounces, guys, so it's very, very light. This is a very, very EDC-able piece of gear. It's quite thin overall, all considered. And it's a nice cheap option, I have to say. This guy has basically no hotspots. This clip has a lower ramp, so it's not going to be the easiest to slide into your pockets, but it's going to be very, very nice in the hand. It feels good, guys. Like this area especially, it's nicely rounded off. I don't feel any hotspots. The only thing is that the grip for my hand is not ideal. Look at that. It's just like there's a chunk of handle missing. So I'm not going to have a very, very solid grip, and I'm not going to do any heavy duty task for with this guy. Probably I'm going to use the bigger brother, because look at this. It feels like a full-size knife in the hand. This is just a little bit smaller, but the texture, it's sleek. It's pretty sweet and a little bit slippery, to be honest. But overall construction is all right. It's not like 100% flush. You see some flaws, of course, but I mean, it's a very inexpensive knife, and it's a budget knife. So, for example, the deployment speed, it's not going to be stellar because it's just thumb stud, but it's probably the same as the Sebenza when it's deployed with the thumb flick like that. And closing action, of course, there's no guillotine effect, there's no free fall, nothing. You don't have really much of a finger sore because this thumb stud over here is nicely rounded off, and you can't really do, I mean, you can't do the reverse grip, but in my case, like, no, I'm missing like a lot of handle over here. And what else? I mean, the clip ramp, yeah, it's all right. It's not the best, a little bit too strong for my taste, and a little bit too simply built, but it's there's no rattling when shaken. It's looks like it's put together. There's no flex. A little bit on this side, but on this side, none whatsoever. So it's decently well built. Of course, it's running on washers, and the action feels actually pretty smooth. I mean, I tuned this up. It was not like this when I just first got it, but it can be improved. So overall, I mean, it's a very decent EDC solution. If you are on a budget, if you don't want to spend a crazy amount of money, it's gonna be a good choice. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.